we are here to, in some sense, discuss today, the art of collaboration, so to say. You know, it's something that you perhaps encounter every day without realizing. You switch on, your computer and you go to Wikipedia, which is, a result of a creative collaboration. So here we are, Christina and I, trying to collaborate on an artwork. Now, if you look at the dictionary, and, collaboration is defined as a situation where two or more people work together to create or achieve the same thing, which in a sense is what we have come here to do, which is an unusual thing for an artist to do, because very often the art space is defined as a very individual space. However, in the history of art, there have been many interesting collaborations. Though this is a book in which she argues against collective art, she does also say that being around other artists often stimulates idea generation. And it's a part of the reason why Andy Warhol created his factory. So there is a point to different kinds of artistic practices coming into contact or into conflict. There is a history, not always successful, but this was certainly very successful when Louis Buñuel and Salvador Dali came to create Un Chien Andalou, which I think is an amazing surrealist film. Two different artistic minds coming together. Or, in the early days when John and Paul got together and they sort of were in each other's faces to create the music. To remember the role of the individual in all of this. Or there is the Dadaists, whom I love, who believe that the value of art lay not in the work produced, but in the act of making and collaborating with others to create new visions of the world. In a sense, that's what we try to do with the art, to create something new. We come together and we exchange ideas, but then we both want to go away and think about these ideas and let it find a resolution. Then we come again and we talk, and then we go away again. And it's been an incredibly fulfilling experience working with Christina. We've had the ability to exchange sometimes very foolish ideas or very foolish thoughts, or half-baked ideas and half-baked thoughts. And I think, it's very important that that generosity of spirit is there if a collaboration is to work. My next experience perhaps was with, the Bombay airport, where I did this 20-foot high drawing. It spans 4 floors. And the idea was there, but then there were many, many levels of collaboration. It started with, again, working with an architect to realize the drawing. It's 3-dimensional, so, every surface, this is all drawn, and it's like drawn sculptures. And it's like a jigsaw. There are 31 pieces that lock into each other, not just in 1 dimension, but in 3 dimensions. So the technical complexity of this was something that I had to sit down with an architect and break up. Then I worked with an extremely talented bunch of carpenters. And finally, the installation team. We stood on cherry pickers, sort of thinking, I'm going to die for my art, looking down, putting the work together. So, that's a detail of the work. And I was seeing it coming together for the first time. It was too big for me in my studio to actually put the work together. Collaboration also has trust. You believe that in the expertise and in the good intentions and the inventiveness of the person that you're collaborating with. Because I said, I want this, but I didn't know how the joints would be, how they would fit together, what was the locking mechanism, how would they sit flush on the wall but not be directly against the wall, because then there would be problems of moisture. There was a million tiny, tiny, tiny details that had to be sorted out. And I could only give a vision, but it was the expertise of the carpenters and finally the people installing it that, that it eventually took shape. So it's there, and
I'm sorry that my English is not good, so I will speak to speak in French. Pour moi, cette étape, ce travail de collaboration arrivait dans un bon moment de ma carrière. J'ai collaboré auparavant avec des entreprises, avec des artisans, mais avec des artistes, avec une artiste comme Parvati, jamais. Et c'était vraiment les bons moments pour pouvoir accepter un projet comme celui-ci.
Me, it was really a wonderful experience to see how another artist from another country thinks and what she brings to the work. I would ask questions and she would reply, you know, I would sort of state propositions, and it was really a dialogue in the true sense. We were already given a material. Very often you seek a resolution with the material. So here we were given a material to work with. So to explore what that material, what is it about glass, that it's sort of, that it's strong, but it's fragile, that it's transparent, it is opaque. What can these things, how can you be true to this material and create something that would reflect back the material with you, but then our artistic intervention into it. If you don't want narrative in art, what does that mean? And, you know, I loved how the conversation was that if you can take away, you take away and you take away, and finally you come to a point where if you take away anymore, the art piece no longer can say what it needs to say, then the art piece exists. You know, so these kind of intellectual but practical ways of looking at art. I think it's from this richness that the project will come. It's important to nourish your way of thinking. It's like saying, you know, language. If you think about it, the limit of what you can think is determined by the words in your mind. If those words are not there, you cannot frame a particular thought, whether it's in writing or thinking. So your vocabulary increases, whether it's words or techniques or ideas. And I think that's what this week was about for me. The work of art was Christina's, or the work of art was mine, but it was not merely a question of execution. There were questions that were answered by, you know, by the polyurethane producers or by the silk screen artist. So, as she said, certain works of art could not have been realized without their expertise. You put something there, you play with it, and then if we both don't like it, that goes off the table, something else comes there to play with. There is a certain sensitivity, there's a certain respect for each other's position. You know, it's something I really believe in my art, and it's something that I really believe that as artists, that there are projects that you focus on collaboration, which adds a certain richness, I believe, to the work. And I'll leave you with a funny quote that alone we are smart, together we are brilliant. And this very nice image of when you work together, you know, the results are different. I'm not saying that that's the only way forward, but for me, in my artistic practice, increasingly the idea of collaborating and the idea that together we can create something very special has become a really important part of my work.
Thank you, Christina and Parvati, to take that challenge and to make this project possible and to realize it. And what I will say now, I give you a rendezvous, essentially in French, next year in November for the unveiling of the piece.